let's move along. One of the biggest stories of the week, of course, Dustin Poirier versus Nate Diaz is happening at MSG on November 3rd, or at least we think. They were at the press conference together. There was the face-off, tweets afterwards, all kinds of stuff. Let's hear from Dustin right now because we didn't see this one coming. Dustin, how are you?
Good. What's happening, man?
Not too much. I appreciate the time very much. What a week for you. When you left the cage in Calgary, when you went back home, was this on your radar at all? Did you know that this would be in the works for you?
No, man. I thought I was going to probably have the rest of the year off.
So what happened? How did this come together? When were you first told about it?
A few days ago, like the day before it was announced. I was on my way to Newark, New Jersey, and then we got on a couple phone calls, and it kind of happened from there, man. It went really quick.
Why were you going to New Jersey?
I was working with Everlast on a promotional shoot. They're about to launch a new campaign, and we had a bunch of filming and stuff to do.
Okay. And so the UFC calls you and says, how about fighting Nate Diaz?
Calls me, yeah, and I said, well, they said we need you at the press conference as well. I said, well, when's that? They said tomorrow. I said, well, dude, I got a carry-on bag with just clothes to travel in, really. I'm already at the airport, in Texas on my way, and, I just make the audible and head from Newark to L.A.
Other than the travel issues, did you like this idea or did you have to be convinced?
No, man, I don't have to be convinced to do anything. This is what I do. It's an exciting fight. Nate's a guy I've been watching a long time, a guy I've always wanted to fight. MSG is a place I've always wanted to fight at, and this is just part of the legacy.
You mentioned after the win over Eddie, you said, I'm only picking up the phone if they call me with a title shot. Was this the one fight that, that you felt, okay, I can bend that rule? Because it did seem like you had a very strong case to being next.
Right, but even at that, if I would have stuck to that, these guys are fighting in October, no telling when the belt's going to be defended again. I don't want to wait 8 or 9 months for a title shot. I'll just keep earning it, keep winning, and keep getting better,
Okay. So, all right, so then you decide to go to L.A., you do the press conference starts, he's not there. Are you starting to get worried?
Nah, he was there the whole time. I can hear him, the UFC employees talking on their walkie-talkies. He was downstairs with his boys. I guess he was waiting to come up. Nah, he was there. Okay.
And so what happened? Why do you think he was doing that? Do you think he was just playing games?
I'm not sure, man. I don't really care. He was there. I knew he was there. I didn't really think that far into it. He might have just been running a second behind or doing something downstairs. I don't know exactly.
Okay. So then you guys square off. You didn't say anything to each other when you squared off, right?
No.
Okay. But then he leaves at the end, and then he sends out that tweet. Do you have any knowledge as to what he's upset about? Is this fight in jeopardy?
I don't believe the fight's in jeopardy, no. I would have heard something. I have the bout agreement in my inbox. I'm about to sign it today and send it off. So everything moved forward like it was supposed to after the press conference. And I think he was just upset with them, him coming out to a press conference and then them advertising another fight or talking about Conor while he was there, and those guys aren't even present. I just think he felt disrespected. Yeah, that's what I think happened.
So do you feel like he has, a valid argument here? Do you understand where he is coming from?
I don't even play I don't even care, honestly.
But
as long as he shows up November 3rd,
Is there any doubt in your mind that he doesn't show up?
Nah, I'm not sure if he signed the contract yet. He's a guy that follows through. I don't think him or his brother had ever pulled out of a fight of injury or not shown up when they said they were going to show up. What happens, between fights and in the build-up of fights is another thing. But once he signs the contract and commits to a date, he's always shown up.
Mm-hmm. And you've been told as well that it's the co-main event, right?
Yeah, that's what I've been told. And I have no clue on the main event. I was trying to dig while I was out there talking to employees and stuff, but I haven't heard.
Okay. Have you also been told that if you win this fight, you will fight the winner of Conor versus Khabib for the belt?
I mean, I know that I can wait now and do that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is just another. Yeah.
You were given the option, essentially?
No, like I told you before, I told them, I'm the next guy.
Yeah.
I've earned it, man.
So you win this fight. Is there any chance that you'll be on standby in case something happens between Conor and Khabib, since you're fighting around the same time?
I honestly don't want to earn the title shot that way by technicality. I don't want to fall into the place. I want to have a full camp and earn it. But we'll see. I'll be in camp, so I'll be in decent shape around the time they're supposed to fight. And we'll just play it by ear, but I'm hoping that doesn't happen.
Okay. Is there any part of you that feels like this guy hasn't fought in 2 years and he hasn't won in 2 years and a half? He shouldn't, like, he didn't earn this fight against me?
He's fought the best of the best for a long time and done a lot of great things in his career. I feel like a guy like him is always relevant. And that's why I took this fight.
Okay. The win over Eddie Alvarez, would it be fair to say that that's the most gratifying win of your career, considering all the buildup, what happened in the first fight, the back and forth? You feel like that's an accurate statement?
For sure, and just what was on the line, with, like you said, the buildup and the smack talk and what he was saying and what I was saying, it felt good to get the win. But just like I said, where I'm at in my career, I feel like I've earned the title shot now. That was another Fox, main event in a row. That was 2 in a row I won, 2 stoppages. So it's just, career's worth of work paying off. The last 11 years to go out there and finish a guy just is all paid off.
While you're in the fight, while the fight is happening, and this has been talked about a lot over the past week, could you hear his corner telling him to elbow you, and then of course he did it, and that led to the stand-up and all that? Could you actually hear that transpiring?
I can hear elbow. I heard them say that. We were right in front of them, but I couldn't see them.
Okay. I'm assuming you agree with the call to stand you guys up?
I'm not the referee. It's not my position to say what happens. It's the ref's job. I was just in there to fight, and that's all I was doing. Whatever happens in the fight is going to be up to the ref when it's time to make those decisions. When the strike did land, I did let the referee and Eddie. I did let the referee and Edward know that I was fine. The shot didn't hurt me. It landed on my neck and my shoulder. I didn't even feel it. I was good to go, and he still stood us up. So,
After fighting him twice now, do you feel like Eddie is a dirty fighter?
I mean, you connect the dots. The guy stuck his finger in my ear multiple times. He 12-6 elbowed me. He grabbed the fence to stop me from guillotining him the first time I jumped guillotine, which had a huge, effect on my positioning of my hips, and I had to regrip my hands. I lost the choke there. I don't know. I think he's a fighter, and he doesn't go out there with the thoughts on his mind to do dirty things. I think he's just in there to survive and to fight to the end, no matter what he has to do to get the win. And I think that's more of it. I don't know if he's a dirty guy planning on doing stuff, or that's in his arsenal to pull stuff off like that. I just think he's fighting to survive always.
Has that ever happened to you? Someone putting their fingers in your ear?
Nah, man, that was weird. He did it twice, but he had mounted. He was reaching around the back of my head, and it kind of would torque. The pull would kind of torque my neck and straighten my back up. So it was very effective. I never even thought about doing something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it was slick.
And this always happens in fights. The people, it's like the Zapruder film. Then people saying that you hit him below the belt afterwards. I'm sure you've seen this, right? The knee.
Yeah, the Zapruder film. It was the guy on the grassy knoll.
Yes.
It wasn't me.
Well, it's crazy. Like, people come up with these screenshots and things like that. Could you clear that up? Where did that knee land?
It probably. I mean, I saw some people tweet out the slow motion to me, saying you dirty, you need him in the groin. But like I said, I'm fighting to finish, and obviously I'm aiming for the guy's balls. I'm just throwing knees and trying to hurt the guy and get him out of there. He's moving around. He's changing levels, and the knee might have grazed him, but it had no effect on the outcome of the fight. I mean, he didn't know where he was before the knee landed. I doubt he even felt that he was so hurt,
What happened after the fight between you and his corner?
His coach tried to come shake my hand, and I just kind of brushed him off, and then his boxing coach started talking trash, and me and him kind of got into it. But I just felt like those guys, they didn't directly say anything to me, or I didn't see them talk bad about me, but they're rolling with Eddie. They're backing Eddie, and Eddie's talking all this trash, so I just, circled them in the same category as Eddie. And that's kind of what happened there.
Did you see Eddie afterwards? Do you feel like you cleared the air with him? Is the beef squashed?
Yeah, I spoke to Eddie and his corner after I walked to the back, and adrenaline kind of went down, and we got checked up by the doctors. I went in Eddie's medical room and talked to him, and talked to his corner. Kind of told him I apologize. It was the heat of the moment. I was just upset about the whole thing, but this is behind us. And, Eddie told me a couple of good things, and told me he respects me, and it was an honor. So, that's behind us.
Okay.
It was business. He might have been doing what he had to do, talking maybe to motivate himself to take the fight or see some kind of chance of winning the fight, or I don't know, but maybe he was selling the fight, saying the things he was saying, but that got under my skin, and that's where the whole drama kind of came from after the fight.
Physically, how are you feeling after the fight?
I'm good to go, man. I'm incredible. My left hand kind of was hurting a little bit, but it's better now. My right shin, he was throwing low shin kicks. They weren't even calf kicks. He was kicking me in the shin to shin below the knee, which kind of, that's like a bone bruise. That's going to stick around for a little bit, but I have no injuries from the fight.
Okay, so you don't mind coming back in November?
No, well, tomorrow I'm taking off with my family and my mother, my stepfather, my in-laws, my wife and daughter. I'm taking us all on a little 7-day vacation, and then, I might turn my phone off for 7 days, and then get really tan, get a little fat, drink some beer.
Yes.
And then I'll be back in Louisiana the week after, and I'll be right back to work, tightening up some things that I have to do here in Louisiana before I go back to camp. It's a juggling. It's a balancing act. I have a life here in Louisiana and a home and a lot of responsibilities here. To keep bouncing back to go to training camp and putting everything on hold, is, like I said, it's a balancing act, and it takes a lot of me. So I'm just tightening up all the loose ends, getting everything done that I need to get done here, and preparing to go back to camp. But physically, I'm great. Everything's good to go. This week off is going to do me a lot of good, and then I'm right back on the grind, bro.
Is there any part of you that one day dreams of doing the camps back in Louisiana so you don't have to deal with that balancing act?
I honestly enjoy it, man. I feel like I have an apartment in Florida right next to the gym. My daughter has a room there, so we're not bouncing from different places. She has her toys, and she knows that's her room and her apartment, and it feels good. I go there, and me and my family kind of just isolate ourselves. I go to the gym, come home to my wife and daughter every day, go to the park, go to the pool, go to the beach. I have a good balance here.
Okay.
I'd rather that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now it all culminates on November 3rd for you. You fight Nate Diaz on the biggest stage possible, Madison Square Garden. This is crazy stuff, right? I mean, this is one notch below I know you wanted the title shot, but this is almost like a title shot in its own right. Like to get that fight, that money fight against Nate. Do you feel like you're being properly compensated for this? Like, do you feel like you're being taken care of?
I always feel like I'm underpaid. Always. I feel like the work I put in and the risks that are out there. Every time I get into that octagon, I leave a piece of myself in there that I cannot get back. The hour hands tick forward every time I get in there, on my career and, my well-being. A lot of stuff goes into this, and the older I get with the daughter, the more I realize, that this is bad for you, man. And so I have to take calculated risks, and this fight seems like an opportunity I wanted to jump on, man.
Yeah. So just to be clear, you have yet to sign, but you do plan on signing the contract today. Is that fair?
I'm signing the contract today. I have it in my inbox.
Okay, we could do like a live play-by-play of you signing the biggest contract of your life.
Yeah, man.
But there's no reason, like, they didn't want you to sign the contract before there's no reason why you didn't have to do it back then as opposed to today?
No, just ironing out some details. A couple things had to get changed, and there's a lot of small print in these contracts,
Yeah.
It's not just Dustin Poirier says yes to fight Nate Diaz November 3rd. There's 10 pages of contractual obligations and things that go on. So
right.
We just had to tighten up a couple things there, but everything's good to go.
Everything's good now. And so, like, when you send this back, will you ask them, hey, have you guys talked to Nate? I mean, it does seem like have you seen those videos after the presser? He seems pretty fired up.
I seen the one of when he was walking, and I don't know if it was TMZ, somebody tried to interview him.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a bunch of them. I just seen that one. Yeah, but I mean, I feel like I'm the guy fighting him and about to prepare to start a training camp here in the next month. So they would let me know if something was going on.
You wouldn't just ask, hey, what's going on?
I think they would let me know. My management or Sean or Dana, somebody would call me and say, hey, we got some problems, and I've heard nothing but positive so far.
Okay. And also, just to be clear, that tweet you sent out on Friday, was that you just kind of, what was that? I'll ask you, what was that tweet? Because everyone got worried when he tweeted and then you tweeted. What's happening to this fight we're all excited about?
That's just good, clean fun, man. I was just having some fun. I thought it was funny that he said that. It was just like classic Nate Diaz, like UFC, I'm not taking this fight. I was like, you know what, buddy, you're right. This, I'm not doing it either.
but just poking back at him, essentially.
Yeah, man. We just poking at the fire. I'm just having some fun with this whole thing.
Awesome. Is it what do you want to have as the main event? Is there something you're gonna push for? Is there something you hope to make the fight even bigger, the card bigger?
You know, maybe I'm thinking maybe Jones might come back, or we got GSP, maybe Anderson Silva and GSP. I don't know. Like I said, I'm like you. I'm trying to find out what's the main event going to be, because this is a big fight. I feel like we could be the main event.
Yeah, I totally agree. Last thing for you, Dustin. Who do you think wins, Conor or Khabib?
Man, I keep kind of going back and forth, but I'm leaning to Khabib right now. I just think we'll see, man. If it's early, it's going to be Conor. I think if it goes past the second, if it goes longer than 10 minutes, Khabib's going to pull away. I think just the grind and the constant pressure is going to fatigue Conor. But that being said, you know, Conor's an incredible athlete, and I'm sure he has the best guys around him preparing him for this. And you know, his takedown defense is going to be the best it's ever been, and it's an interesting fight.
Who do you want to win?
I don't care. I just want to fight for the belt.
There's not a part of you that wants another crack at Conor?
Of course, a little bit. But if Khabib wins, he's undefeated, undisputed world champion. How awesome would it be to put the first L on that guy's record?
Right.
There's good in both fights, man.
Okay. Well, next up for you, November 3rd. Can't wait for it. Dustin, really appreciate the time. Congrats on the win against Eddie Alvarez. Enjoy your time off. I am envious. If you're able to turn off your phone for a week and actually not turn it on at any point, I am truly envious. I wish I could do that. So
I'm turning it off. I'm going to be bronzer than an Olympic medal, man.
Can you actually do it for a week? Can you not be tempted to open it up again just once to see what's up?
I kind of need a break, man. I need a break.
I appreciate that.
You know, if it's something that's serious, I've had the same manager my whole career, and my wife and him are friends as well. If it's something serious, my wife will get a call and say, "Hey, Dustin, something's going on." But other than that, I'll be drinking brews.
Well, enjoy it, my man. You certainly deserve it. You have earned it. Very happy for you. Congrats on the win. Congrats on getting this fight, and enjoy your time off.
Thanks, Ariel.
All right, there he is, Dustin Poirier, stopping by November 3rd in New York City. Our city, right here, Madison Square Garden, him versus Nate Diaz. For now, he was not very happy, but hopefully things get resolved. And quite frankly, I understand where he's coming from. All right, let's move along to our next guest. And, of course, everyone talking about Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Conor McGregor. It's going down October 6th. UFC 229, the biggest fight in the history of MMA. Finally, 26-0 against the former double champion. The Eagle, the Bear versus the Tiger, the Gorilla. Russia versus Ireland. Kremlin versus Dagestan. San Jose versus SBG, a.k.a. versus SBG. Javier Mendez versus John Kavanagh. Let's talk to our next guest. Coach for one, Khabib Nurmagomedov. The great Javier Mendez is stopping by. Javier, how are you?
Good, Eric. Oh.
I'm very excited to talk to you about this. Congratulations on getting the fight. Are you as excited as I am, Javier? This is a big deal.
I bottle it inside, but yeah, I'm probably giggling like a little girl.
You've been a part of some of the biggest fights in the history of the sport with Cain and DC and Luke Rockhold. The list goes on and on. Way back in the day, Frank Shamrock, Josh Thompson. So many big fights. Does this feel as big or maybe even big? Not trying to put those ones down, but this to me is the biggest fight in MMA history. How do you view it?
Same as you. I view this as the biggest fight in MMA history, and it's hard to say how well it's going to do. We just know it's going to do well.
Yeah. Was there any part of you that was worried it wouldn't get done? There's such big personalities here. There's back and forth. There's money. Are you actually surprised it got done as quickly as it did?
I'm surprised it got done as quickly as it did. I'm not surprised that it got done because Conor wanted the fight. And if Conor didn't want the fight, it wouldn't have happened, but he obviously wanted the fight. I'm just surprised at how quick it was done, to get it going. I was thinking that they might do a world tour somewhat, but apparently there's no time for that.
Are you happy about that from a training perspective?
From a training perspective, Well, the thing of it is, I think that if there was a world tour, they would have gave us enough time to train properly like they do all the other ones. So I don't think that would have been effective. I just don't know if a world tour is necessarily needed. It may not be.
Do you like the fact, just forget about World Tour, but this is happening rather quick, and as you just noted, usually fights, get announced 3-4 months in advance. Here it's essentially 9 weeks. Would you have preferred more time to prepare for Conor?
No. Habib was preparing for this anyway, so it isn't like all of a sudden now we got to get to work. No, he's when we were in Calgary, he was ready to go. We worked out some over there, and he's sharp. His weight's where he needs to be for this time. Everything's good. Mentally, physically, he's ready to go. So that doesn't affect it. The only thing is, the world tour, could that have helped? That's the only issue. But as far as being ready, no, plenty of time. He's been ready for it.
How much does he weigh 9 weeks out? Just out of curiosity.
I don't really know.
Okay.
He's just right on point where he needs to be.
Okay. And you said that, Conor wanted this fight, so that's why, to a large degree, that's why you were confident it would happen. Are you surprised that Conor wants a fight against someone like Khabib with his skill set?
No, I'm not surprised. Conor's a warrior, man. He'll fight anybody. He don't care. It's all about what makes business sense to him, and that's what this is about for him. It's more about business than anything. I mean, he says it all the time. I'm a businessman. I'm a businessman. So, and he actually, when it comes to negotiation, a lot of what he does is good business.
Sure. Is Khabib in San Jose already?
Yes, he's here. He arrived Friday.
Oh, wow. So he will be there for the next 9 weeks.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so he's doing the majority of the camp, if not all of the camp there.
He'll be doing it all here. He has been. He has been doing them all.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe he spends a little bit of time in Russia and then comes over.
No, as of the last 3 or 4 fights, he's been spending the full camp.
Have you gotten the sense that, and we get that sense, and maybe it's false, but you're so close to him, you see him every day. Have you gotten the sense that this is deeply personal for him, and is there any part of you that is worried about emotions getting involved? Sometimes when you're too emotional, you fight outside yourself. Are you worried about this at all? Do you get that sense from him at all?
With Khabib, it's kind of hard because he has his mindset and what he wants to do, regardless of what his father and I say.
Yeah.
I just give you, for instance, with Michael Johnson, we didn't want him to stand with him like the way he did in the first 2 minutes of that fight. So it was like, I was besides myself a little bit, and then he did that again. To Barboza, same damn thing. He let that fight go longer because he wanted to drown it out longer. And then what he did on this last fight with Al, the same damn thing. I told him that Al's gonna be surprisingly easy for you to hit. I don't want you to get comfortable and just stand there with the guy because he has a lot of power. He can take good shots, and it's too risky. We don't want to risk this. So what does he do? He goes into after the second round, he goes into stand up with him, and then the Muhammad Ali act.
Yes.
And so yeah, Khabib knows how to win, but he knows how to entertain his own way. He listens to myself and his father, mostly his father, but for the most part, he does his own thing.
So I was just going to ask you about that fight. He admitted afterwards that he was watching a lot of Muhammad Ali clips leading up to the Brooklyn fight, and he was getting a little bit in love with his boxing. With all due respect to the other opponents, Conor's a different beast, right? If you start playing around with boxing, you're going to get a left hand that will put down some of the greatest fighters of all time. You can't do that, right?
No, you can't. You do that with Conor, he's gonna finish you. He's got precision striking. He's an elite striker in the MMA division. You do that with him, that's the stupidest thing you could ever do. Khabib will go after him. If he misses 99 takedowns, he'll go for 100. As long as he's standing, he's looking for the takedown. There's no game plan here per se. As how we attack the game plan, yes, that's going to be another story in itself. But what our plan is, we can't stand with him. I mean, we're going to lose that one for sure. But keep in mind, Ariel, Khabib can hurt him on the stand-up too, also. But in route of doing what he needs to do, not standing with him. He stands with him. We're losing that all day long. We're not winning that one at all.
This may seem like a silly question, but I just want to ask it anyway, given your expertise. What concerns you most about Conor?
I mean, he's got great power, great timing, great relaxation. It's just a timing thing. It concerns me earlier off, getting started right off the bat. He's going to be very, very dangerous right from the get go. So we have to be on point. Whoever screws up is going to get the bad end of this one. And my job is to make sure that Khabib's on point. And that's it. We just can't screw up because he's too dangerous. He's too dangerous.
The name of your gym, the American Kickboxing Academy. Of course, your background is striking. You see Conor striking. Would you say he's one of the best strikers you've ever fought, you've ever prepared for? Is he up there with some of the best of all time?
From MMA standpoint, yes.
What makes him so great?
I think that a key point for him is he knows how to relax, and he's got confidence, and he's obviously a very talented individual. He's super talented. So all those combinations put together, he's got the package. As far as stand up, he's got.
Have you sat down and actually talked to Khabib what this like? I don't know if you do this, if this is a part of your preparation, but about what this means to him, why it's so personal. Like, let's be honest, this is very personal, right? I mean, the guy came to his bus and all that stuff that happened, ended up in jail. Will you talk to him about that sort of thing, or is he the kind of guy that you don't even need to speak about that?
No, we discuss it. I mean, with Khabib, it's like, his thing is send me location. You want to meet me, send me location. I'll meet you. He goes, no, Khabib's from that type of environment. If he's being threatened, he's not going to stay in his home. He's coming out, and I can't change that. I don't want to change that. That's who he is, He's the type of person that, there's going to be some personal things involved because, you try to attack him with a bunch of people. Now it's one-on-one. Now the cage closes and no one there but them two.
I know one thing that Khabib and his team very much appreciate and respect from you is the relationship that you have with his father, and how you guys work together. I know you've never actually met his father, right, face to face, or have you?
No, I met his father.
You have.
That's why his father's very comfortable with me. He spent about almost a whole month here with us at the training camp for one of Khabib's fights. Okay. I know his father.
Will he be a part of this one? Can he travel?
I don't know. I would want him to be here. I think your son's fighting for the biggest fight in the history of MMA. I'm hoping he's here. It would be great. It would be a great honor to have him here to watch his son go out and perform. I would love it.
Does he speak English? If not, how do you communicate? So how do you communicate with the translator?
Yeah, with Khabib or Islam or Rizvan, the manager, along with Ali. Ali doesn't translate, but Rizvan does, the other partner for.
Have you actually discussed game plan with him yet?
No, we haven't went into that yet. I haven't broke it down yet. It will be starting soon. What we need to do and how do we need to attack it. That actually starts today.
Oh, I was going to ask you. That actually starts today?
Yeah, the game planning starts today.
How does that start? Like, how do you begin?
Well, basically the mental strength of what we need to do, and got to put it in your head that we can't stand with this guy. Remember that he doesn't want to go to the ground with you. Well, we don't want to stand up with him. I mean, that's the number one thing you start with. That's the number one thing is we're not standing. We're not standing. Okay.
Obviously, what people say about Conor is wrestling is his Achilles heel. It's his weakest point. Do you agree with that? Like, do you feel like he is a very subpar wrestler off his back? That's where you want to put him?
I don't think he's a subpar wrestler. I think he's really good. But the problem is that he's never met anyone like Khabib. So, Khabib, anybody within his way, he mauls everybody. Always has, since he's been with me. So to me, it isn't that Conor is not a good grappler. It's just that Khabib is phenomenal. That's what it comes down to. It has nothing to do with Conor's not good. No, it has something to do with Khabib is that good.
Okay. Obviously, everyone wants this fight to happen. There's a big bullseye on everyone, a spotlight on everyone. Will extra precautions be underway in terms of weight to make sure that he's like? I know sometimes he works with people, sometimes he doesn't. Do you know if things are going to be heightened here?
He's going to do his own weight cut like before. He's been doing the last one he did himself. It was perfect. He feels very comfortable. He's very disciplined. So no, he won't have a nutritionist with him. He'll do it himself.
What about, and I feel like this label has thankfully gone away a little bit, but just the injury thing at AKA. Oh, you guys beat each other up. It's caveman. All that stuff. Any extra precautions as far as that is concerned?
But when it first started, I was already thinking about there's just too many injuries. Not before we were labeled that, which is cool, but the bottom line is MMA in general is a very rough sport. We're still learning how to, to do things so our fighters don't get as injured, because, out of any sport I've ever been involved in, boxing, kickboxing, never have this many injuries have occurred in any sport. MMA is number one for the most injuries going up to a fight, and still to this day it's happening. But our injury rate dropped over 50% based on just communication with the coaches and the fighters. Simple little thing like, hey, if you don't feel like sparring today, please tell me. Don't tell me you're going to spar. Number one. Number two, if you're injured, I need to know that there's something about you injured, or if you get enough sleep or things like that. Those are major changes, believe it or not, and it's happening. It's working perfect. A lot of my fighters, I don't feel like it today. Okay, move on.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it's just a matter of communicating. That's great. How much will he spar going into this fight?
What was that?
How often will he spar going into this fight?
Well, I like at least once a week, but I let them decide. I say once a week of sparring, but they usually like doing 2 or 3, like Daniel likes doing 2 or 3 a week, mostly 3 with Daniel. I let them choose, I prefer 1, I advocate 1, but, I let them decide.
Okay, before I let you go, let me ask you about Daniel. What would you like to see him do? He keeps talking about 205. I think this is a crazy idea, but you're his coach. What would you like to see him do?
Well, first of all, he's got to heal from his hand.
Yeah.
And I always go with what Daniel wants to do. So whatever he's going to want to do is what I want. But if you're asking me what I would prefer him to just prepare for Brock and then basically call it a day.
No John Jones?
You don't even know where John Jones is at. So to me, I don't really. Me personally, I don't care whether he fights John Jones ever again or not. Doesn't matter to me.
Why not?
What matters is what matters to Daniel.
But why not for you? You don't want to get that one back?
What was that?
You don't want to get that one back? You don't want to get a third crack?
No, the way I look at it, there was nothing fair about it to begin with. So to me, it's gone. For me, it is. But again, that's just me talking. I don't speak for Daniel.
Sure. I know. I'm just curious. And considering Brock's history with USADA, do you have any concerns about taking that fight?
I have no concerns about it. Just want to make sure that it goes through. That'd be a good payday for Daniel if it goes through, because hey, look, listen, I did an Instagram post on my Instagram and I don't have that many followers, and it was my video that I took, and that stupid thing hit almost 542,000 views.
What was it?
It's just a picture of Brock inside the cage with Daniel when he calls Daniel, hey, Dan, you blah blah blah. It was like, holy I've never had, think about it. I had like 50,000 followers and there was over 500,000 views.
Yeah.
That just shows you what kind of power and marketing that comes with Brock. Brock's a huge, just huge.
But there is something to be said for like earning it, right? Like has he earned the shot at someone like Daniel?
Well, based on the views, I say yes, because
fine.
This sport this is about who can create the most money. Let's face it, you know it, I know it. It's not like a college sport. It's not like the Super Bowl where it's the winners that fight the winners. This is whoever creates more eyeballs. It's always been that way with boxing, and it's going to be that with MMA until they regulate it. Accept it, hey, you want to get eyeballs to the screen, do it. Look at Colby Covington. That's what he did. He started marketing himself. Whether you like it or not, he made a name for himself doing what he did, and he's a good fighter. And but that's what creates it. That's whoever can create more butts and seats is the one that's going to get those big fights. Because why? Because the promoters make money, don't want to lose money.
Right. And Cain, is there any update on when we'll see him back, Cain Velasquez?
He's been ready to go. He's in here off and on. He wants to fight, so we'll see what the UFC and his manager can work out. That's been limbo for me. I don't really know what's going on. I just know he's definitely ready to fight.
He's healthy. He's healthy.
Yeah.
Does he want to fight again?
What's that?
Does he want to fight?
Oh yeah, he wants to fight.
What about pro wrestling? Is he thinking about that?
He was not playing around with it. He likes pro wrestling. He always has, so he got invited. So he went because it was fun, I don't know what he would do as far as that. I think that I don't think there was any talks of that. Just him going out there just to have fun.
But you think we'll see him fight again?
I'm hoping so.
Okay. And how are things with you and Luke Rockhold? Will he be back at the gym?
Luke and I will always be great with each other. I love that guy. He is through and through AKA all the way. I don't care where he trains. I don't care if he never trains with me ever again. I love that guy. I'll always be behind him. He was always behind me no matter what. When I needed help, he was always there for me, and I'll never forget.
That's great to hear. I can't wait for the next 9 weeks, Javier. Good luck to you guys. Really looking forward to it. And also, congratulations on all your success over the past. I know you had Islam Makhachev with a big win in Calgary. Of course, what happened with Daniel. You guys are rolling. So congrats to you and the team on everything that's been happening as of late.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Ariel.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. There he is, Javier Mendez, head man over at American Kickboxing Academy in San Jose, California. Wow, the road to that fight is going to be so exciting. It's going to be so much fun. I cannot wait for that. I cannot wait. And what's great about it is reminiscent of Mayweather and McGregor, which is crazy. It's crazy that we are approaching almost a year, right? Almost a year. August 26th, to be exact. Almost a year since that last fight. Unbelievable. And now here we are, Conor finally returning, finally on the cusp of returning. The next 9 weeks are going to be fun, and it's like that Mayweather fight in the sense that fight was announced in June, June, what was it, 14th, I think it was, to be exact, and then the fight ended up happening August 26th, so it's kind of the same thing, maybe a little less. Interesting stuff there from Javier Mendez, talking about he wants Daniel Cormier to just wait for Brock. No John Jones fight. He wants Cain, obviously, to fight again, but didn't have much on that one as far as where he stands. Interesting to hear that he is healthy. Luke Rockhold will always be buddies with him. That's good to hear. And very interesting to hear his insight on the build-up to Conor versus Khabib, that fight taking place at the T-Mobile Arena. Okay, still to come, Dylan Dennis in studio. Talk to Dominic Cruz about his thoughts on the bantamweight division. Talk to TJ Dillashaw. Talk to Rafael Sunsao. So we will have a heavy focus on the bantamweight division. Dylan Dennis, of course, will not only talk about the Conor Khabib fight, but also talk about his own career. He won his MMA and Bellator debut back in April, and the guy gets into arguments with everyone. I saw him going back and forth with Nate on Instagram over the weekend. He's had back and forths with Tony Ferguson. He's had back and forths with John Jones, Michael Bisping. He has a knack for getting into these things. So I'm looking forward to catching up with Dylan Dennis in a matter of moments. Up next, though, we are connecting with Owen Roddy, the head striking coach for one Conor McGregor. Big fight coming up for them. Of course, the biggest fight in MMA history. Everyone is so excited to have these cast of characters back in our lives. So let's talk to Owen right now, who's joining us on the phone. Owen, how are you?
I'm good, Ariel. Pleasure to be back on talking to you. Are you good?
Oh, and can I just say, I have missed you, and I have missed John, and I have missed Artem, and I have missed I've just missed you guys around the fights. It's been too long. Thank you for coming back.
It's mostly, it has been too long, a long time out, but we're all back. We're back in force, and back to have some fun, Should be good.
You guys bring a certain level of excitement that is unmatched, so it's great to have you back. Do you feel the same way? Like, you miss the big fight?
Jake Love with Ariel Helwani, so I'm like, it's Jake Love with
Sorry, what was that, Ariel?
Sorry, I'm hearing Jake in the back there, so let me just tell them to quiet it down. But I was asking, do you miss that, the feeling, the big fight feeling, being on the stage, the spotlight on you guys? Do you miss that as well?
Yeah, well, no, you know what? I've missed Conor being in the cage. You know, it's been a long time. And I know it was only last year when we were out doing the boxing match, and it was amazing and stuff like that. But yeah, no, it's exciting to be back in the octagon and preparing for a very good fight, a very exciting fight for the fans. So yeah, I'm buzzing for it. Yeah, can't wait.
In your opinion, was this the only fight to make? Was this because there were a lot of options out there? The Nate Diaz fight was thrown out. All kinds of fights were thrown out, going up, GSP, all that stuff. Was this the fight that had to be made for his return?
You know what? I'll say that it all depends on what the fans wanted, and it seems like the fans have really pushed for this one. So this is the one that again, it's an exciting fight. Yeah, it's I'm buzzing for it, and yeah, most definitely, I think the fans are going to love it.
Obviously, Conor hasn't fought in almost 2 years. It will be 2 years in November, so 23 months by the time this fight happens. He had the fight against Mayweather, but how would you rate his sort of, his shape right now? Has he been training for a while for this? Do you guys need to ramp things up? Where would you gauge where he's at right now?
Yeah, no, he's in good shape. He's always training and always improving. Like he never stops training. So, look, I always say that the Conor McGregor you're going to see on October 6th is definitely going to be, twice the fighter he was in previous fights. Most definitely, he's in good nick. We're just now at the moment now we're starting to tailor a game plan and put a game plan specific to Khabib together. But everything in the lead up and everything over the past year, he's been doing very well. So now it's time to really fine tune the game plan and fine tune what we expect from Khabib and come up with some solutions. Yeah, so it's great fun.
What's the game plan against Khabib? What's the key to beating this man?
I can't be giving away anything now, Ariel, but he can be hit. So I mean, that's not a mystery. Like, I mean, you see, he's been hitting every one of his fights. That's not a good thing when you're going in to fight Conor McGregor.
Sure.
Conor lands once and you're going to fall asleep. But he definitely poses some threats as well. His grappling is phenomenal. So, but everybody has holes in their games. Everybody can be beaten, and we definitely think that we have the tools to pull Khabib away.
Did you watch Khabib's fight against Ally Quinta?
Yeah, I've watched all his fights. Yeah.
It seemed in that fight, and he admitted afterwards that he kind of fell in love with his boxing. He was watching clips of Muhammad Ali, and he stood on his feet maybe a little too long. And afterwards, I think going into that fight, people said, oh, Khabib is going to maul him. But after that fight, I noticed a lot of people starting to say, like, wait a second, if he strikes like that, Conor's going to catch him with a left, and it's going to be good night very early on. Did you see many holes in his striking, or is it even possible that he was playing possum, that he wanted you guys to think that he was a bad striker and striking like that, but in reality, he's actually better?
No. Yeah, it's not only that fight. I've watched all his fights, and he's definitely never fought a striker like Conor McGregor. And if all those other guys can land shots on him, most definitely Conor can land on him. And Conor 99% of the time, Conor sleeps people when he lands on them. So he definitely in the Ally Quinta fight, he kept it standing, obviously because he just felt like there was no threat coming from Ally Quinta, and he wanted to play around a little bit, but he looked kind of amateurish when it comes to striking, But then again, like, that's not what we're expecting from Khabib this time around. We're expecting the aggressive wrestler.
Okay,
so that's what we're preparing for.
Every fight starts standing, right? And if you think his striking is amateurish, would you say your confidence is very high going into this?
Yeah, well, I definitely think Conor's going to land on him, most definitely. Yeah, and it's just whether he's going to be standing after those shots. And I always say, I said in every single fight, like, when Conor lands, either you're asleep or it's only a matter of time before he lands again, and then you're asleep. So it's not a good night for most people. You know what I mean?
Considering how you feel about his striking and what other people have said about his striking, do you feel like this is perhaps an easier challenge than Nate or Eddie Alvarez? Guys who have been sort of celebrated for being strikers and a little more dangerous on their feet than they are on the ground. Like, is it possible that this is actually an easier task in your mind?
No, definitely. Like, you have to say Khabib, he is where he is because of. It's not just that he's a wrestler. That's his forte, and that's where he's the best. But he's good everywhere. But I just believe that. It doesn't matter who I see Conor going in against. I always back Conor. I still think he's just ahead of the game when it comes to his ability in there. It's not an easier match than any of them. He poses very serious threats, but with the right game plan, we can go in there and get the job done. Definitely.
Wanted to ask you a similar question that I asked Javier Mendez, who's just on right before you, who of course is Khabib's coach. This is a deeply personal fight. There's no doubt about that, right? I mean, what happened in Brooklyn, the build-up, there's a personal grudge there, and I don't begrudge anyone for having that grudge. Things have happened. Do you guys as a team ever sit down and talk about that, about not letting emotions get the best of us, sticking to the game plan, not getting too fired up? Or at this point, is Conor who he is, and you just have to accept it, and he's going to react the way he wants to react?
No, we don't really talk about stuff like that. But I always say that no matter what happens, prior to fights or after fights, once Conor gets in the cage, he's all business. No emotions, no matter what, whether they're good or bad emotions, they never come into play once the door closes. Do you know what I mean? He's shown that time and time again. Like he said he had build-ups in previous fights and still went in and being that tactical assassin that he always is, and he'll be the same person when he goes in October. He'll go in no matter what happens in the build-up or what happens at the weigh-ins or whatever. He'll go in. He'll be cold. He'll be calculated and he'll be accurate and he'll land those shots like he always does.
Are you happy to hear that there isn't going to be a world tour for this one?
Yeah, well, I mean, we wouldn't have much time realistically, So yeah, it's good to just be able to get into camp, hopefully get over to Vegas soon enough, and just focus on the task at hand. The world tour, it's great fun, but it takes a lot out of everybody. So now we know that we're just going to get down and focus on what we have to do and get the job done.
So how will you be? Because sometimes I know you guys have spent the majority of the camp in Las Vegas. Sometimes it's all in Dublin. How will you be dividing it this time?
Well, it's still up in the air, but we'll probably do a certain amount of cycles. We'll probably do 1 or 2 cycles in a cycle in Dublin, and then maybe the rest in Vegas. But it's still up in the air at the moment. But whatever it is, like we'll get it done and get it sorted. We've just started, really focusing on the game plan for Khabib. So whether we do a bit of it here and a bit of it over there, we'll figure it out. But everybody's ready to do whatever it takes.
Do you mind the fact that it's just a 9-week build, or would you have preferred a little more time?
No, it's good. It's good. Straight in, focus on it. Like, I mean, it's it'd have been different if Conor was out or anything like that. Yeah, you would like more time, but he's been training for a long time now. He's in good nick. He's ready to go. So now it's just 9 weeks is more than enough to fine tune a good game plan against any opponent. So we're good to go.
Any concerns about ring rust? Everything that's gone on over the past year, not fight. No concerns about that.
No. As I said, like it's other people are affected by that. Even as I said, it was myself. I would have been very nervous if I hadn't fought for a while. But Conor's different. It's when he goes in there, it doesn't matter if he fought last week or fought 2 years ago or whatever. He gets in there and he's just always on point, always focused, always. It's just the person that he always is in there, and nothing changes that. The wall could be ending outside the octagon, and Conor will still be just focused on what he's doing in the cage. He's just got an unbelievable ability to just overperform in the octagon.
Have you sensed any difference in his mentality and his approach to this fight because this one does feel a little more personal?
No, not at all.
Nothing.
He's the same. He's the same man as always.
Wow, that is amazing. Can I ask you, Owen, why did you go to why did you go to Brooklyn and attack that bus? Why did you do that, Owen?
Oh, wasn't that crazy, man? Jesus, yeah. Oh, it's so funny. Yeah, no, I was on there. I started playing. You stood up for me and all that.
Who had your back, Owen? Who had your back? Ali Abdelaziz, adamant that you were there.
I know, it was so funny. But look, as I said, these things happen. Like, it was obviously, I don't know where his words got crossed or what happened there, but it was funny to listen to. But he went at me. He was giving me all sorts of stick, and he was calling me all sorts of names, but he put out on Twitter that it wasn't me, so I'm happy with that. But it was funny. My phone was blowing up. Everyone was like, "You're getting off with stick. What were you doing?" I was like, "I wasn't even there. I was on a plane on the way." But yeah, funny story, huh?
So you were actually on a plane to go to Brooklyn because Artem was fighting, right?
That's right. Yeah. So I only touched down. When I touched down, then I heard what had happened, and all hell had broke loose and stuff. So we're like, okay, look, Adam, let's stay focused. We don't know what the crack is. We don't know whether your foot's still on or off. So Adam was still cutting weight right up until that evening, and then we got the call that it was off, and that was it. Then, and we were like, okay, it is what it is. Unfortunately, the flight's off, and I went on the next flight home the next morning.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was it. So, crazy 24 hours, but that was a fun story to have when I'm older. When I'm in the pub at 60, I can always tell that story,
What would have happened if you were there? Do you think you would have gone as well?
I don't know. I'd have probably been there. Who knows what would have happened? I would have been with Artem and the boys, so I don't know what would have happened, but who knows?
What do you guys think of Ali? He takes a lot of shots at John, at the team, at Conor, obviously. Do you guys speak about him? Are you bothered by him at all?
No, not really. Like I just think he's up for his. Like, I mean, we fought some of his fighters. You know what I mean? He manages some of the fighters that we fought, so he's emotional. He gets behind his guys, and he speaks out wherever he feels. So, that's fine with me. I don't care. Like, once, as I said, the only problem I had with what he said was that I wasn't there. You know what I mean? I haven't spoken out about him or anyone else, so he can speak out about me. But I've nothing against him. You know what I mean? He's just backing his guys, and that's it. Whatever way people want to do that, it's up to them.
Is there a lot of compared? I mean, the Mayweather fight was obviously gigantic. It almost feels like Conor is bigger now than he was back then after everything that happened this year. Is it hard to even have privacy? Are people coming to the gym all the time? Like, how do you guys actually focus on training?
Yeah, we've been trying to train out of hours, secret training hours. Yeah, because it does get a bit crazy. Like, you do get some randomers showing up at the gym, and you get some crazy people showing up at the gym, I must say. But it's. And then you get some just genuine fans that want to just are trying their very best to meet them and stuff. But we're in camp now, and we can all only be focused on the job at hand, and we can have no distractions and stuff like that. So, yeah, we're ninja training when nobody knows.
Wow. So you're like going there at 1 a.m. or something like that? I'm not exactly.
No. It all depends. It all depends. But we're always getting in and out when nobody's there, But it wouldn't be too late. It wouldn't be too early. We get there when we can. When the club is not so busy.
I know for the second Nate Diaz fight, you guys brought in Dylan Dennis to focus a little more on jiu-jitsu, to have another live body there. Will you be bringing in any wrestlers to try to emulate the style of Khabib Nurmagomedov?
Yeah, well, we've got a very, very good wrestling team. It's wrestling coach Sergey Vakulski. He's a Moldovan wrestler, and he's very high level. And we brought him in for Alvarez, Mendez, and stuff like that. And Conor works with him, all the time. He does a lot of Sergei's classes, and they meet up an awful lot. And a lot of the other Moldovan wrestling guys that we have there are very, very high level. So we have a serious pedigree of wrestlers in camp, and we've always had them in SBG. So we're okay.
And how about for you, Owen? Business is good. You just opened up a new gym, right?
That's right. Yeah. So I finally moved down my small little 1,000 square foot gym, and I'm into like 7,000 square foot. So it's a big gym, 2 floors, and we finally have changing rooms and showers and stuff. So we're moving up in the world.
Wow.
But, I'm just happy. New gym, lots of new members, bringing up, new and up and coming fighters and stuff like that. So I'm excited,
Tell us where the gym is.
I'm just rolling with it. Sorry?
Where's the gym? Tell us where it is. Maybe some people want to go visit.
It's in SBG Charlestown, so it's on the north side of Dublin. The main gym is on the south side of Dublin, so my one's on the north side, just for it's close enough to the airport. So, people can find us on Facebook or find us wherever. We're easy enough to find, and we have a great facility. I was always giving out about the facility we had, never matched the talent we had in the gym, but now it does. So I'm excited about the future for my young and up-and-coming fighters as well. So it's all go,
Does that mean that the world-famous SBG Charlestown video blogs are coming back for this fight?
Yes, most definitely, yeah, most definitely. So that's going to be always a fun one. People always get on that now. So they'll start. They probably won't start till we hit the States, you know what I mean? But once they start, people will catch us on YouTube, and they'll get behind that as always. It's always a bit of fun. It gives people a quick insight to how we're getting on and how the camp is going. So, yeah, I love it. And people love it. So
I've missed those as well. That's part of the hoopla. That's probably like you guys have just you came in like a tornado, and then you kind of went away from us, and this is a big deal to have you back.
And no, we got to keep us hungry for it. You know what I mean? So give us a little bit of. But at the end of the day, all of that, that's great fun and stuff like that, and the vlogs and all are great and stuff like that. But we have a task at hand, and the main focus for everybody is to go in and execute the game plan that we think will obviously be Khabib, and that's what's more important than anything else, and that's overall my focus 100% on. So I'm excited about it.
Okay, last thing for you, Owen, and again, thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it. Your team has a great reputation of nailing your predictions. Could we get an Owen Roddy prediction for this fight?
I suppose. Yeah, I always say the same thing. I think Conor lands on the chin and puts him to sleep. I'll always give his opponent the benefit of the doubt, because some people are tough and some people can take more shots than others. But it's only a matter of time. So I think if Conor lands in the first, early, it could be done in the first. But if he doesn't, once he lands on the chin, you'll all see it in Khabib's face. Once he lands, it'll be lights out either immediately or shortly after it.
So you're expecting a first round finish?
I'm expecting a KO. Yeah, most definitely. Whether it's the first or the second, I don't know, but I would predict that he's gonna flatten.
Wow, before the third.
Yeah, I would think so. I definitely think Conor's gonna land, quick enough. It's just how it deals with being here and how he copes, and I just don't see. I've seen it many times before. Not many people can take the shots. Very, very few. I don't think Khabib can take them either.
I don't know how you hold up the mitts and not have them fly off your hand.
But they do sometimes.
Yeah, they do.
they do sometimes, yeah. But no, it's not only the power; it's the accuracy, it's the time, and it's everything. People have powerful strikers, and kind of Khabib has been hit by some powerful people and stuff like that, and been rocked and stuff. But yeah, they're powerful strikers, but they're not as accurate as Conor. They don't have the timing. They don't have the speed. Like Conor has it all. So it's just it's a very, very tough task for anybody to get in there against Conor. I don't see him lasting.
dare I say, it's the perfect combination of precision meeting power and power meeting speed.
Most definitely, yeah. That's it, yeah.
Okay, I lied. Sorry, Owen. Can I just leave you on this? You're a hard guy to reach. So
Yeah,
I just
do your thing, man.
Okay, last thing. Was there any part of you over the past year, Owen, that was thinking to yourself, here I have this amazing fighter, this guy who is a legend in the making, who made history, double champion, and I'm worried that it is slipping away. The thing at Bellator, the thing in Brooklyn. I'm worried that distractions are getting the best of us and that we're not going to be able to fulfill our greatness. Was there any part of you that was worried at any point over the past year?
I don't know. No, you know what? I think you have to realize, like, Conor is that person. He's extreme in the cage. We talk to extreme outside the cage as well. He acts. He does what he says he's going to do, and whether he feels, he'll always back himself, and he'll do things straight off the bat and then think later. But like, that's what people love about him. That's why he goes in and does these amazing things in the octagon, because he is that type of person. And yeah, some things happened outside the cage, and but like, it's all sorted. It's all in the past now, and we're moving forward again. I don't worry too much. I know Conor's well capable of doing what he does, and I think that when we get back into the cage, it's going to be just back to normal, back to home, I suppose. You know what I mean? And he'll go in, he'll do his thing, and then we're on to the next chapter, which is who knows what's next. You know what I mean?
Yeah, already George St. Pierre is talking about Conor. He did so earlier today. But next up, of course, is October 6th, Las Vegas, the return of Conor McGregor against Khabib Nurmagomedov, the biggest fight in MMA history, in my opinion. So great to have you guys back, Owen. Good luck in training. Good luck on the road to October 6th, on the road to Las Vegas. And again, thank you as always for coming on the show and giving us some time. We sincerely appreciate it.
Nah, pleasure. Thank you, Ariel. All the best, man. Thank you.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. How about this? We are back. October 6th. The characters are back. We've got, like I said, Dagestan and San Jose. We've got Dublin and the team out of SBG, a.k.a. coming together. Khabib and Conor, arguably the most dominant force in the history of the game, 26-0 against the biggest star in the history of the sport. It doesn't get better than this, my friends. It does not get better than this. You could put just those two guys on the card. No one else. Nothing else. And that thing sells $100 a pop. Now, I don't want to give them any ideas, but you know what I'm talking about. This is a big deal. This is massive. I cannot wait.